everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very, very special guest. We are going to talk about the Supreme Court ruling and the debate that happened last Thursday. So, can you go ahead and give a warm applause to Joseph Leonard? How are you doing, Joseph? And can we go ahead?
Wait a minute. You said special. Are you calling me short bus special?
No, I'm not, Joseph. No, I'm not. Can we go ahead
And did you see I'm dressed up for your show?
I'm
Got
glad.
one of them mock tuxedo shirts on.
Thank you for wearing that cute shirt. Can we go ahead and talk about your past leading up into your present?
Sure, yeah. I'm born in the 60s, but very much a person of the 80s. Born and raised in Southeast Michigan, Detroit, southern suburb. As much as I dislike the winters here, I do choose to say, I don't do cold or really warm well. So, spring and fall are my favorite seasons because of that. Not too hot, not too cold, but stay for family and friends, and it's really a nice area here. So, and I just dropped two more international books over the last 2 months.
Before we get into your books, before we get into that, we have to talk about the Supreme Court ruling. You are teaching me things. Tell me about what they said and your input on how you feel, and then I'll tell you how I feel based on what I hear about what you say.
Well, yeah, I mean, all day so far, social media is, the left want to say one thing and the right want to say another. I keep, how Charlie Sheen always said winning all the time. There's a video of Charlie Sheen, a mock song created from that interview that's funny called Winning. So I've been playing that across social media all day long. It's like, oh, you put this in my head now, but you know, I play it down the middle. Yes, I'm a Republican. Yes, I'm voting for Trump, but I don't put on the MAGA rah, 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 rah cheerleader hat 24/7. I deal in reality. And no, it's not a complete win. It's only a partial win. We all knew, like, duh, 150 years of basic precedents that the POTUS is immune for official acts and not for unofficial acts. The Supreme Court basically codified the precedent that's been around 150 years till now. However, they did not define what are official acts versus unofficial acts and are kicking it back to the court. So the left gets to pretend to play dumb and call everything an unofficial act if they want to charge him. Like, in my mind, let's make this about Biden temporarily rather than Trump. So, it kicks back to the court, and the prosecutor can say, well, what we charged him for is an unofficial act, and we're going to proceed. So it's not a complete win. It's a partial win. But the left in their idiocy about, oh, well, they made him immune from everything. He could shoot somebody. He can order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate Biden. No, 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 or Hillary or what? No, they didn't say that. It's ridiculous hyperbole. But let's look at Biden. All right, if I were a Republican prosecutor, based on today's ruling, once Biden's out of office, I could say his executive orders regarding the student debt transfer. The Supreme Court has struck him down twice already on that. Therefore, he clearly didn't have official authority to do that, and that's some of the language in the ruling. Official authority. He doesn't have official authority, so I want to charge him with a crime because the court said he doesn't have official authority to do that. Therefore, I can charge him with
Okay.
crime, even though technically issuing an executive order, even though unconstitutional, is in my mind under the purview of official duties, even though he acted unconstitutionally.
Well said, by the way, Joseph. What does Trump? Okay, how can I rephrase this? Trump has it. They made an order saying that he has unofficial. Let's read it. I'm going to read it because basically, I want to make sure I'm saying the question right. Because here we go. Has immunity for official but not private acts, which means he has immunity from official, which would be to me, that would be like prosecution, some prosecution, which is kind of messed up because he did not do that J6 thing. He did not ask for them to raid the White House. He did not ask for any of that to happen. So I don't understand why they didn't just do it for the whole, as a whole, immunity for everything. So it was like 6-3 decision that Donald Trump has some immunity from prosecution, but not all immunity. And I get what you're saying. And so pretty much I feel the same way. To piggyback off of you, President Biden that's in office right now with the student loans or to forgiveness or granting more money, he could be charged with a crime because he didn't have, as president, as the executive, you know, person of that branch, which he is the main person, the president of the United States. He sat up there and he brought that law into effect. And what happened was, people got mad. Like they like, okay, how can you do this? And he should be charged with something. But let's go neither here nor there. Let's talk about Hunter Biden on a standpoint of getting lesser charges for everything he did. What's your endpoint on that?
Well, yeah, you kind of got two different things there, or several things there. I've done two of my. I've started my own podcast last year
Yeah.
called the Christitu. Thank you. Called the Christitutionalist Politics. I coined and trademarked the term Christitutionalist, Christ-I-tutionalist, Christa Christian based U.S. constitutionalism because we were founded as a Judeo Christian nation. So I've got two shows that I call gray areas. And we're talking now, the Jan 6 thing is still a gray area. The court didn't define whether that was official or unofficial, and
That's what
therefore,
I'm saying. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the lower court still will proceed with the trial. Uh, Now, you and I both know he didn't incite an insurrection. He said, let's go peacefully and yada, 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 yada. But let's look at it within the scope of this ruling, the immunity thing. Was that an official or an unofficial act when he was speaking? That's a gray area because, yes, he was POTUS at the time. And yes, he was running for reelection as the POTUS at the time. And yes, as POTUS, he has official election duties. But can you determine it at that particular moment? He was really a private citizen
No.
acting as acting on behalf of his campaign. Well, that's going to be the gray area that has to be worked out.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think he was under immunity in that case, but that will indeed, the Supreme Court didn't decide that. one way or the other, that's still left up to the trial for a trial to decide. Now, Hunter is a whole other kettle of fish, right? Now, the left likes to pass endless amounts of gun laws that restrict our rights to our Second Amendment. But the Hunter trial, they tried to, of course, only enforce gun laws that they passed when they feel it benefits them. The Hunter gun crime, they tried to plea bargain away, right? They weren't interested in enforcing their gun law then. It was the judge that threw out the plea bargain. That is the only reason that the Hunter trial proceeded. And I've got several articles and a show on that. Again, you know, a lot of times, let's talk Chicago, all right? All kinds of gun crimes that the left passed, but yet the criminal comes into court and the weak on crime Soros DA and prosecutors go soft on them and plea bargain away the gun crimes. The same thing they tried to do with Hunter. While the very same day that that verdict came down, finding Hunter guilty of gun crimes the left passed, that they tried to ignore and plea away to let Hunter off scot free, Biden was at a gun control rally calling for even more gun laws when they don't even enforce the ones they got. They allow the criminals off, plea bargain away the gun crime, lesser charges, and let these SOBs, to put it nicely, right back, right back out on the street to commit more crimes, again, likely with more illegal guns. If
Oh,
you would lock them up, they wouldn't be able to commit more crimes.
well said, Joseph. Okay, so that reminds me. Okay, you got devices that go underneath cars illegally, and then if you count it, it's illegal. I don't know if you know, but people can monitor where you go by putting a device underneath or in your car. But if you buy the countermeasure to that, which is a device to counteract that signal, that's illegal. That makes no sense to me. So you got guns coming in through the Mexican border and from China through the Mexican border. And it's like, what is really going on? Why are we allowing that and allowing criminals to escape, rape our women, kill our men, and we're American citizens? And it makes no sense. Like, why are these guns coming through our border where it's like you have guns coming through our border, and yet they're passing laws to piggyback off of you. They're passing laws that require people to and blaming the right about having lax gun laws when they're just trying to protect their houses, their families, their children, etc.
I don't care if you're black, pink, purple, or polka dotted, right?
Yeah.
You have a Second Amendment right to own a weapon to protect yourself and your property. And, you know, the left, again, lets criminals like the immigrants breaking the law off every day of the week, but want more laws against you and me and your audience, otherwise law abiding. They're criminalizing what is our constitutional right because they want to take our guns away while they let the criminals run around rampant with guns. Now,
Saying.
yeah, the border. It's drugs, it's human trafficking. Like you said, yes, some gun running. But let me remind people of the Obama Obamao, because he's a communist. Obama, he's closer to Mao than Reagan, that's for sure. Uh, and remember the Eric Holder gun running incident? I don't have the shirt handy. I should have actually wore that shirt. I have a green shirt with a Customs Border Protection badge and the black ribbon through it. It's a tribute shirt to Brian Terry, a Michiganian who was serving in CBP in Arizona and was killed by one of the Fast and Furious, as it was called, gun running, illegal gun running that the Obama administration and Holder did that got into the cartel's hands that killed him. So our border guy was killed by a U.S. gun that Obama let over the border into the cartel hands.
And let's not forget, children were being put in cages. And I'm not
Oh,
condoning
they
or
still are. They still are. They
yeah.
still are. Where's that discussion gone? And you know what? It is not, it wasn't a Trump invention. That is based on a human trafficking law signed into law by Bill Clinton. And it was happening all through the Obama years by law to make sure a child wasn't being human trafficked by someone bringing them in. You had to separate them until DNA could establish whether that was a legal guardian of that child.
Well,
So it was
that's fine. I
to
think that that's
protect
fine because look at
children.
what's
Yeah,
happening now. Look at what's happening now, but it's not happening no more. Everybody
but
is coming over.
But the cages thing came in under the Obama years because you can't build, uh, massive new like hotels to separate them. So they put chain link fence in an area, put the children over there, put the adults over there. So kids in cages. Well, you put up chain link fence to separate them so that the CBP can see what's going on with the kids and the adults. It wasn't just kids in cages, it was adults in cages, and they weren't cages. They were just fenced off areas. The whole kids in cages was bullpucky. When Obama was in office, but it only became an issue when Trump came in office. But it goes back to Bill Clinton. It wasn't a Trump thing. And it was the right thing to do to separate them until you know whether that child actually belonged to that adult properly, a real legal guardian, and not just someone bringing them over to traffic them. It's the right thing to do, but now that a Democrat's in office again, no talk about kids in cages anymore, even though it's the exact same situation as when Clinton was in office, as when Obama was in office, as when Trump was in office. Same situation. It's just selective outrage to attack a Republican when a Republican is in office.
You
And
know,
I don't play that game. I'm dealing in reality. It's the same under all three, four administrations. I speak in truth and reality, not just pick and choose because I can attack Biden on it. But where are all you leftists that whined and moaned during the Trump years? It's still happening now, and you don't say anything.
well said. So they're trying to come out with a DNA order where they sit up there and figure out whose child is what parent or what parent is with the child who's
Or at least an aunt or an uncle, a brother or sister,
yeah.
eh, some form of proper familia tie legal guardianship.
Well, here's the thing. If we can do rapid COVID tests, we should be able to have rapid DNA testing That, what is the problem with that? Why can't that be done? What is your input?
Well, I think it is less of an issue truly now because that is happening more quickly. Or it could be and would be if there weren't so doggone many millions flooding across the border right now. The CBP doesn't have time. They are dealing with far too many people to do their real job. They're just babysitters and paper pushers right now.
Yeah, and we got 7 million. I believe it's 7 million. It's
Oh, I
300, probably more, but he said it'll be 18 million. But we got like 350 and counting million people here in the United States. And by the time this election is over, he said it'll be 18 million. But that's documented. That like one somebody told me, the undocumented ones are going to be the ones that's undocumented that we don't know that cross the border. We need that wall because it separates. And you know what? I have something to say about this. The Mexican president, the new Mexican president, which is the woman president, they keep saying that they're going to do different things for, like they're going to help build Mexico again. So why are so many people fleeing? Why is it that if she's in presidency, then what did she agree to with the last president that got her into presidency? And what is she really going to do to help? What is your input?
yeah, it's mostly for public show,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
cartels run Mexico. I mean, when Trump was in office, the previous president, he did force to do some things because Trump said, "Look,
yeah.
we'll just
He was
tariff
mad.
everything,
Yeah.
100% tariff on everything, and your country will completely collapse."
Mm-hmm.
He used the levers available to create a better situation, and Biden on day one eliminated all that. But yeah, no, the knowns versus the unknowns. We know we have interdicted thousands on terrorist watch lists from, and this is not just about a bunch of Hispanics coming from Mexico to pick crops. No, we have caught people from more than 150 countries on the planet. And there are not that many more than 150 countries on the doggone planet. So this is not just about you're racist, Job.
I'm not
You
racist.
just hate us Hispanic. You hate Hispanic.
I don't
No,
hate Hispanics.
it's nothing to do with that. Hundreds, thousands known on terrorist watch lists from 150 countries. That's not to count how many tens of thousands of potential terrorists we didn't catch at all, just waltzed across, and we have no clue who they are and where they are now. This is a border security, a national security, not just an immigration issue.
Well said. And do you remember about that 12-year-old girl that they sat up there and they didn't rape her. They lured her to a secret park somewhere quiet and they just strapped her up and killed her. That really broke my heart and made me so enraged. I was like, what's going on? Why is it that we aren't paying attention? And you know what? They tried to cover it up, the mainstream media, and did not say whether they were Hispanic or not. They just said somebody got killed. And this is how they get paid. They get paid
Yeah.
off of these stories.
And I don't care. Black, white, Hispanic, pink, purple, polka dotted. I don't care. They are illegal immigrants who shouldn't have been allowed in the first place, then commit another crime. And this is story after story after story that you're right. The leftist biased Biden media want to cover up.
Let's talk about the debate. What was your input and what was some key factors so I can bounce and piggyback off of you that you found out during that hour and 30-minute segment?
Well, first and foremost, I'm voting for Trump. Nothing's changed in my mind. But I'm not a Trump cultist here to wear a MAGA hat and be all rah, rah, rah. Yeah, exactly. But I'm not here to be rah, rah, rah. Trump is perfect. No, nobody, nobody on this planet is perfect. Trump was not great, in my opinion, at that debate, but Biden was a complete disaster. Let me give let me give one example of where Trump was less than stellar,
Okay.
getting suckered into that Gulf exchange. And here's why. Right? Trump is playing a populist, a man of the people,
Mhm.
and getting suckered into arguing about golf handicaps. Although he recovered later and said, well, let's not be childish and be talking about this. But right from the start, he loses. Oh, my mailman's at the door. I'm on a Zoom right now. Just leave it on the porch. Okay? I hope he heard me. Hold on. I got to
Okay, take your time.
stall for a minute.
It's okay. So basically, Joseph Leonard was talking about the Gulf people. They said that he called a man a name and like go ahead after you. Oh, got your mail.
Okay, got the mail. Okay, yeah, bad timing. Bad timing. Normally, I would close the door because I've got a mail slot in the main door, so they put the mail through it. But I left the door open, and so bad timing. At any rate, yeah, no, the golf thing. You trying to play the man of the people, even though I'm a billionaire. I understand your struggles. And I believe he does. I know he does. He surrounds his people with some good people, some bad people. Again, nobody's perfect. Trump is not perfect. Trump's first term was not perfect. The second one will not be perfect, but it will be leaps and bounds better than what we've been living under these last 3.5 years. But the golf thing makes him look aloof and elitist. Hey, you know, what he should have said the minute golf came up is just laughed at him and said, look, Joe, there's a lot of people out there that have VW Golf, GULF, and they can't afford to put gasoline in that Gulf to drive to the grocery store where they can't even afford groceries because of your inflation and policies. So let's not talk about GOLF when people can't put gas in their GULF. That would have been the right response, a man of the people response. So Trump wasn't perfect during the debate, but oh my God, Biden, the cheap fakes
No, no,
they
no,
keep
no, no.
trying to say, him falling up the stairs. Oh, what are you going to believe? Your own lying eyes or the leftist lies? That it's all cheap fake videos. It ain't when he fell over on his bike and then post debate they tried to say, oh, he had a cold. Oh, did he have a cold or the flu each of the times that he was stumbling up Air Force One steps when he fell over on his bike? When the Easter Bunny had to walk him around the White House lawn because he was dazed and confused. This man has got a lot of COVID, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it, I think that they were trying to sabotage Donald Trump. I mean, everybody, okay, during his 4 years, his first 4 years, he had a lot going on. A normal president, it's always a scandal, but he had plenty more scandal. They were trying to impeach him, they were trying to do different things. So he couldn't focus on the main court issues. The Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi video, where Chuck Schumer said elections has consequences. He knew that Trump wanted to submit to be president again for another 4 years. Nancy Pelosi yelling at him, saying that that wall isn't efficient. And it took only 5 million. He said they building it under budget, 5 million, where we sending money, across the seas. And I'm not prejudiced. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but if we're in a deficit, why don't he go down as the president that being the largest deficit of helping so many putting so many laws together? That's what kind of president I want, to go in debt for maybe doing the wall, maybe doing other things that will help build America, like our military, our policemen, different things. But to get back to the point, during that interview, they Trump could not speak, and he was very mature. To me, he was very mature because he could not speak and cut off President Biden like he usually do. But I'll say this: when it came time to actually speak, if he could not finish a sentence when the next question came up, he would finish the question with that. I am so glad. I'm so sick of Biden bringing up the Proud Boys. When what is prejudice? Prejudice is when you have illegal immigrants coming over and you are sitting up there allowing it, and you're not taking care of your American citizens. You're disregarding our American citizens for immigrants that are very vicious and violent. So that is prejudice. Talking about the Proud Boys, we haven't, I can't yay or nay it, but I tell you this: why didn't Trump bring up the fact that he's prejudiced about not caring for our American citizens over terrorists?
Right. Well, like the Proud Boy things, they keep trying to peddle this notion that Trump is racist, and the only people that support Trump are racist, which is complete bullpucky. The Proud Boys, for you morons who do not know, is an organization founded by a black man. It's not a white supremacist group. And guess what? That black man has been inappropriately charged, gone after by the Biden Justice Department. So he's in jail right now, so that you can't see that the Proud Boys was founded by a black man supporting Trump, because that doesn't fit the narrative. All black people are supposed to blindly follow the Demo KKK rat party. And as Candace Owens, a black woman, says, left the Demo KKK rat plantation, it's now just a different form of plantation. It's an economic plantation. They want to dangle handouts and welfare or whatever else. And for the record, there are more white people on welfare than there are black people. It's not a black thing. But dangle promises like the affirmative action ruling that SCOTUS slapped him down on again, but they're redoing it. Racism is racism. You can't cure racism by instituting racist policies that skin tone is skin tone. If it's racist to give somebody of action, affirmative action based on black skin tone, that is racist. Just as racist as it is to preference a white person because of their white skin. They are all equally racist. But the debate rules they did Trump a favor by muting the mics. Because again,
Yeah, it would have
Trump
provoked.
Trump's character flaw, that 6 year old inner child, that sometimes,
But
because
he did good. He did
yeah,
good.
well, because he couldn't interrupt, but he
Yeah.
would have. And frankly, I would have a hard time not wanting to interrupt Biden again, too, because he lies all the time. Lie after lie after lie. Not just the Proud Boy thing, the Charlottesville lie. Again, you can find on YouTube those comments were taken out of context from a presser that Trump held with the Chow, uh, McConnell's wife, a Department of Transportation presser that a reporter tried to get a gotcha moment on the Charlottesville. He didn't say very fine people, Nazis. He said on the statue debate that you must have, our history, the good, the bad, and the ugly to learn from. There are very fine people on both sides of the Confederate statue debate. Not the neo Nazis, not defending Confederate soldiers. It was about American history and learning from it, the good, the bad, the ugly. But Biden and the left still lie. You could see that presser for yourself and the whole statement that they lie and say, he said Nazis are very fine people. He didn't come anywhere close. In fact, 3 or 4 or 5 times in that press conference, he said, I'm not talking about the neo Nazis. We all condemn the neo Nazis and the KKK, which was founded by Democrats, white supremacists. He said, outright, I'm not talking about those people. We all condemn those people, but the left cannot have an honest discussion. They must lie. He also lied about the bleach thing again.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
remember that. Go ahead.
Remember, Trump wants you to inject bleach. That is not what he said at all. He was talking about the new modern infrared
They edited
technology.
that. They the one
Yeah,
edited what he said, not him editing what Biden did by Farley. That was editing.
right. It is like bleach in a laundry. Yes, a purification, a disinfectant. He didn't say inject disinfectant bleach in your veins. He said the modern infrared technology that purifies blood directly through the veins without the need for an injection. But again, they lie. They have to lie. They must always lie. And I forget who says it, but who coined the phrase. You want to piss off a Republican? Tell them a lie. You
Yes,
want to
that's what
you
I was saying. Yeah,
you want to piss off a leftist? Tell them
the
the
truth.
truth.
Yes. Okay, I have a question about COVID. Okay, there was like 38, 40, or 42 people in the Wuhan laboratories. Now we know that Biden is cool with China. We know that. And we know that there are some people, gang members
the
in
the
China.
Hunter Biden laptop, which they were calling a Russian conspiracy, was used in evidence in the Hunter Biden gun trial. All that we've been telling you about the Hunter Biden laptop and the ties to China and the Ukraine money laundering and the Russian money laundering and other nations' money laundering, the Biden crime family is all true. And that's why they had to pretend it was a conspiracy. It's been entered into evidence in the Hunter gun trial. But yet, there are leftist morons out there still saying the Hunter Biden laptop is a conspiracy theory. Because
So
again, the truth, they can't handle the truth. The truth doesn't help them, only lies do.
well said, by the way. But speaking of the Wuhan, the reason why I brought that up is because what I want to know is that was during the Obama administration, right? Before you start talking, the Wuhan laboratories, when COVID strike, Trump was in office, and then everybody turned on him. He had all this pressure, And basically, now we know that Biden is working with China. We know that it's been conspiracy about that. And so, speaking of that, you have the Wuhan laboratories under the Obama administration, the COVID strike under Trump administration, which Trump, tried to. He successfully proceeded to try to reduce the numbers of killings because it started in China laboratory. I think personally that was a setup, that they were having some type of virus brewing just in case Trump become. I mean, this is
Well,
allegedly. Let me say allegedly before they cut me off. So pretty much, allegedly, I believe that Obama created the COVID, or they created this virus, both hand in hand, Obama in China, or United States during the time in China, because they wanted to depopulate, number one, and they wanted to make it hard for the next president that could have been Republic, number two, because they know he may have been a businessman, but he knows a lot of politics, and a lot of laws and everything. But to be as president and have deep state watching you, the deep state just controlling everything. Even his vice president was messed up. So what I want to know from you is, how do you feel about what I said about possibly it being an alleged
well,
setup?
I'm not going to delve into the conspiracy of the what and the why. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stick with the known facts.
Go ahead.
All right. The Wuhan virus uh, was man made in the lab. And you're right, during, with Fauci money illegally. We are not supposed to spend money in the United States or anywhere, any US dollars. It is illegal. It has been banned that we engage in gain of function manipulation of viruses, which is why Fauci, during the Obama administration, worked with the Chinese at the Wuhan lab to indeed create a gain of function on the SARS COVID virus. This is an extension of SARS. These are facts. These are indisputable. These are a matter of public record. And the Wuhan hysteria, the virus, came out in 2016 before the November election while Obama was still in office. And they kept it quiet and covered up. Remember the NBA, remember LeBron James and crew were over in China making lots of money. So they wanted to keep it quiet. It came back and spread everywhere. Now, this is me speculating. All right. To me, a lot of the transmission came by the NBA teams that were over there and became contagion with it. And they spread it through Europe and the United States. And then, of course, it got progressively worse and got out of control, indeed, while Trump was in office, which is what upset Trump's presidency. A whole lot more could have been accomplished during the Trump first term had Wuhan not got out of control like it did. And remember, Trump is the one who said we're going to shut down travel from China. It wasn't xenophobia. It was because those of us in the know knew it was coming out of China. It wasn't randomly popping up everywhere on its own miraculously. It came out of China, and China travel was causing it to spread at a ever more exponential rate. Trump knew what he was doing, but of course, everybody called him racist and xenophobic and anti China. And, you know, these are, I did throw a bit of speculation in. that indeed I think the NBA players played a big role in the spread of it because they were in China at that time that it was breaking out. That is a fact. Now, that is a fact. Now, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, but they were there, and then they came through Europe and back to the United States. So if they were there, it was a pretty good chance indeed they got infected and brought it back with them. But again, now that is speculation on my part, but the timing is not. Those are verifiable, evidenced fact.
Okay, and to speak about Biden in China, because I just got banned from TikTok just now, but I'm gonna keep talking. They want me to get back on there on July 8th, but it's okay. So anyway, so Biden in China. Why not allow Biden in office? Because so many people know that he done so many things under the table that we don't know, that's classified or top secret, that we don't know, that it's to the point where he owes China based on China helping him. And so he's easy to control. So that's why China probably helped with the election results. And you got the terrorists from China coming through. And at first I thought that something was wrong with that. I'm like, how do you live way over here and yet you're coming to our island, our territory, just coming up the? It makes no sense.
Right.
What's your
Now, again, let's try to avoid speculation and deal in fact.
Tell me the
Fact.
facts.
Fact. No president before had put more sanctions on China and Russia than President Trump did. And when Biden came into office, he eliminated a lot of those sanctions. Uh, this isn't speculation. I'm not talking about the whys and the wherefores. I think we understand why he did it because, again, the Hunter Biden laptop shows the bribes, or, well, again, that's speculation. The money that came, we, it's a matter of record. The FBI had SARS, suspicious activity reports on these money transfers that Merrick Garland uh, look the other way on, didn't want to investigate. IRS whistleblowers say they know the money exchanged hands from Russia to the Bidens, from China to the Bidens. All right. Why? Okay. That would be speculative. But the fact that it happened is evidenced. We know those are facts. So we can speculate that uh, Biden being a Russian China puppet in return for the money may have wanted to weaken the sanctions. And the weakened sanctions against Russia allowed Putin to get massive oil revenues, which then funded his further, not invasion of Ukraine. Invasion of Ukraine already happened during the Obama years. Crimea was Ukraine. He invaded Ukraine and the Crimea during Obama. He didn't expand the war during Trump, but when Biden reduced the sanctions and he was awash in money, he expanded the Ukrainian war and went into other parts of Ukraine. So it wasn't a new invasion, it was an expansion of an invasion that already happened in the Obama years. And with Xi, again, took down sanctions. Now, Biden wants to try to appear tough before this next election. He says, I'm putting sanctions on Putin and Xi. They're nowhere close to the sanctions that he took down, that Trump had in place when Trump was in office. Again, a little speculation in there, but I distinguish fact from speculation. I gave you facts, undeniable facts. They are evidenced on the Hunter Biden laptop. So we all know the facts. We can speculate then why he reduced the sanctions. But facts are Trump had far more sanctions on Putin and Russia and Xi and China than Biden does now, trying to appear tough before this election. And we all believe and understand our speculation is because he's a puppet for them, because he got bribes from them.
I'm gonna tell you this is the last question, and I'm gonna tell you my input before I ask you this question. Why I want to vote for Trump is because everything he said in the last election between the debate between Biden and Trump was true. He said that if we vote for him, inflation will be high, the immigrants will come over, and bad things will happen. He said it in very blatantly. He tried to tell and warn the United States of America that was watching. Now it happened. Inflation is up. Immigrants are coming over. Terrorists are coming over. So why do you want to vote for Trump?
Well, we've got a night and day comparison. Other than, yes, and again, Trump wasn't perfect. He still spent way too much money. But part of that was the Wuhan crisis. All right. So there's a caveat, there's an asterisk next to all that spending. Trump did not veto one spending bill, did not even threaten to veto one appropriation bill. So that's on him. That's his fault. He didn't do a good enough job regarding deficit and debt. All right. But still, leaps and bounds better than Biden. And you mentioned bad things are going to happen. That's another thing they're lying about. Remember, now they're saying Trump admits he's going to be a dictator. That was a joke. Did you hear that joke? I will not be a dictator. Well, maybe I will for the first day. That's what he said. It was a bleeping joke. And they lie,
Though,
lie all
yes.
the time.
And so where do you see yourself with your books? We got 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Where do you see yourself with your two books going for the future, Joseph?
Yeah, I just dropped two more this year. Like I said, I started Constitutionalist Politics podcast last year. So I immediately released a book to go with that show last year in August when that show started in June. So I dropped Constitutionalist Politics 2 the beginning of this month, June of 2024. And I also, since I started a podcast, I've got How to Write a Book and Get It Published, Hints, Tips, and Techniques to help people write a book. Anyone considering doing a podcast, I also, in May of this year, released Podcasting Quick Start Guide. So, how to start a podcast slowly, low cost, do it on the cheap, and then build, grow, put more money in later. So those are the two books that came out this year, this month and last month. So I'm up to 5 international books now, even though I'm the holder of more than 3 or 4 dozen copyrights. A bunch of books that were written before aren't available now, but the 5 international books are.
Lastly, how I hate to let you go. How can the people reach you, sir?
Yeah, if you're seeing the video, it's kind of fine print there. The easiest way is to go to josephmleonard.us. And it looks French. It's not Leonard. It's Leonard without an O. josephmleonard.us. That's the easiest way. And of course, there's a contact tab there. Or you could go to Constitutionalist Politics. Uh, I'm on 20 different podcast platforms. If you look in the show notes, it says send us a text message. So you can reach out that way also.
How do you be finding this information so quickly? I just got to know before we depart.
Uh, well, I have health issues. You know that. I've been on disability since 2004. So I have more available time here and there to do research on things that others do not have, right? You know, we are all ignorant of something or another, right? There's a difference between ignorance and stupid. Stupid is you don't know, you don't know, you don't want to know because it's inconvenient to know. That's a leftist, right? But we are all ignorant of a lot of things until we research and find out. I just happen to be home a lot and have more time than most people do to go down these rabbit holes.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Stay on the line. Thank you guys so much for joining my show. I will see you guys later. Bye.
Go Indiana